Okay, that's supposed to say on air. I don't know. I don't know if you can see that. Turning Red is Pixar's latest entry into their foray of admittedly a bit of a spotty record as of this point, but a good record nonetheless and much better than Illuminations. And this particular movie, not unlike a lot of movies, has caused quite a bit of controversy. For those of you who don't know, the premise of Turning Red is that a young girl named Mei Mei Lee, going through the early stages of puberty, finds out that her family has a magical condition where the women, after reaching a certain age, start to turn into a giant red panda whenever they feel any kind of strong emotion. And the film is about her having to deal with that throughout the trials and tribulations of puberty and the expectations that her family puts on her. It's a very fun thing. Now, I personally really enjoyed Turning Red. I thought it was very personal and very honest and very fun. It was a kind of different feel from a lot of other Pixar movies in that it was a little bit more cartoony, but I actually kind of like that. And it was also very clearly heavily based off of the early 2000s era, which, you know, is nostalgic for some people, but I wasn't alive for most of that. But I'm sure it made people happy who was intended to make happy. But my opinion is, as I have learned from the last video that I posted, not the majority necessarily. In fact, there have been quite a lot of people who have had very negative and very loud opinions on this movie. This is a very unscripted video. This is more of like a rant type thing because I'm working on a lot of other videos and I wanted to work on this and have this be a thing that I do. I've got a couple of videos here that I'm going to react to commentary to, you know, green is not Nick style, I guess. This was brought to my attention by some people on my Discord server. If you want to join my Discord server, the link is in the description below. There's like a join link. Just go and join my Discord server. It's a lot of fun. We just kind of talk sometimes. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm just going to jump into these videos and see how terrible they are. Okay, this video is going to be 16 minutes long. This is from Alex Wilson. It's called Turning Off, Turning Red. And I've actually seen a clip of this on TikTok, so I've basically seen the whole video then, obviously.
Hey, we turned off Turning Red after about 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes. I want to start off by praying because what I'm about to say in this video I think can really help you know how the devil is trying to infiltrate your mind through the media.
Okay. I think I'm in a parade into something I did not expect. Well, this is like a whole nother beast. Let's see where this goes, I guess.
So many different shows. And these deceptive little lies are subtle, but they're also seeds that can grow into great sin. And one day you... our relationship with you, God, but
I can see why this video is 16 minutes long.
So you're probably wondering what part of the movie really made us turn it off. It was two parts.
The first 5 minutes.
First, how can a young man or person keep his way or her way pure? By guarding it according to your word. Why is it talking about young people? Because young people are under an immense amount of influence.
We're 3 minutes into this video, and he has said nothing about what's actually in Turning Red. Is this just what you do? You just say nothing over and over? This is working on me, kind of. Not in the way that he wants it to, but in like, it's piquing my curiosity to see what he actually thinks is so bad about Turning Red, because I've watched the movie.
What does it mean to guard? I use this example in our podcast, but my father-in-law and I went to this secret beach, and on the way there, we got to a point where it was completely covered in hedges. And these hedges had big thorns on them called kiave wood. And it splits the bone and the spirit and the marrow, cuts past all that and goes straight.
You're not saying anything. This is... You're a fourth of the way into this video, more than a fourth, and you've said nothing about the movie that you say is like really sinful. Like, this feels like a really bad way to make an argument. Obviously this is very unscripted because he keeps going on tangents and tangents and tangents, and it's just not interesting. I'm sorry, it's not. Okay, let's just keep going.
I was in the point where I was so excited all week, but then all of a sudden this dark cloud of anger. I was mad at, like, my son stubs his toe, I get mad. My son makes a mess, I get mad. Like, why was I getting mad? I was waiting all week for this. Oppression.
So you're saying that the movie was bad because you just like were in a bad mood. You know, there are a million tiny things that can set off a bad mood. It doesn't have to be like the premonition of some evil movie coming to get you. We're 6 minutes in. Hate to keep reiterating this, but we're 6 minutes in and he said nothing about the movie.
Or the parts in the movie was at the very first scene. I mean, a minute in, she says, "In my culture, we honor our father and our mother. But you know, sometimes I just want to do my own way." And the little message that they were trying to and what she was saying is, do your own way in spite of honoring your father and your mothers. You need to come first. What you want needs to come first.
Oh
That's
God.
evil.
So he says the movie is evil because the teenager doesn't want to always do everything that the parent wants. That's not even what the movie says. The movie just says, part of the point of the movie is that you don't have to live for your parents' approval. And that's just the truth. If you live for your parents' approval all the time, you never become your own person. And maybe that's what this guy wants. That's, you know, fine, your prerogative. But like, that's such a bizarre thing to like pick up on and decide to turn the movie off. Maybe there's more, obviously, but if that's the whole reason, then this is insane.
If you do not honor your father and your mother, you will not live a long life.
Just categorically untrue.
We wonder why musicians and actresses and actors die at a very young age.
Couldn't be the cocaine. It's that they didn't honor their parents. Right.
Another part is when they are talking about how they worship animals in their culture. And I just had to stop it. Now, like, I mean, a young kid watching this, and they're watching the hero, like, be a part of a family that worships animals.
It's the racism. Of course it's the racism. Oh, boy. And I thought that they were just being a little bit strict. No, the racism, it's also there. That makes so much more sense. Oh, man. I feel really smart.
And so another part, third part, she is drawing this boy that she has a crush on, and she's turning all like red, like her cheeks are turning red, not the actual panda. And the mom comes in and she's hiding her notebook. So it's teaching kids, you can hide stuff from your parents.
First off, that is way past 5 minutes into the movie, so he's just lying. Second off, because the kids in the movie act like kids, and the family happens to be Chinese, that's enough for this movie to be labeled sinful in this guy's interpretation. So oh my God. All right, let's just keep going.
Perfect relationship with a parent who seeks out the best in us and understands us and listens to us and is there for us all the time, doesn't make us feel condemned, but makes us feel seen and loved and cared for, and like there's mercy. Like, we want that type of parent that doesn't make us feel abandoned.
Is he victim blaming? Is he suggesting that kids like hiding stuff from their parents that they find embarrassing because of the way their parents react, that it's their fault that their relationship is messed up?
You know, pay a little bit more attention to the stuff that your kids are watching on their tablets, on their phones. It may cause you to feel like a dictator. It may cause you to feel like you're not giving your kid freedom. You know, that's a lie from the enemy. It's your job to protect your child.
It's a lie from the enemy to give your kids freedom? This video is making my brain melt.
And what you listen to, what you watch, you know, this Euphoria. I'm not going to say what I want to say about Euphoria because it would be vulgar, but I hate that show.
He doesn't like Euphoria. He doesn't like Euphoria because it has the sex. They have the sex in that show. That's why he doesn't like it.
It's very normal and natural for you to feel like something's not right about this. That's the Spirit of God. That means you're alive and there's a roaring lion inside of you. So when something makes... I love you guys. Listen to our podcast. If you want to hear me talk about the Bible more, Lokalani also has some really good things to say in the intro and the outro of our podcast. Also, we're completely like donation based, and so if you love these messages and you want me to keep
that's where it is
talking about stuff like
that's
this,
it. Donation based grift. Okay, I get it. This makes a bit more sense to me now. Okay, that was 16 minutes of nothing. Okay, so it seems that this whole problem that he has with turning red is that, one, it, I guess, encourages kids to be rebellious. It doesn't. It just doesn't. That's not the point of the movie. But, you know, that's like against one of the 10 commandments or something. I really tried to pay attention, but and then the other thing was just that it's based off of a different culture's religion. Okay, so far we've got our tally of actual reasonable arguments against this movie. It's still 0. The movie said maybe you don't need to be listening 100% all the time to everything your parents say, and it had some Chinese religious information in it, so it's evil. It's evil. By the way, subscribe to our Patreon, give us donations so we can continue doing this and making these kinds of videos. Alright, our other video we're going to be looking at today is from human pencil eraser Matt Walsh. New Disney movie has parents outraged. Here's why. With his smug face. Let's see what Matty Boy has to say.
This is from the Daily Wire. Also, it says Turning Red is the newest movie from Disney Pixar that has some parents turning red with anger. They say the children in the movie are overtly disobedient and rude. Plus, there are sexual themes, including the main character twerking as a panda in front of her mother while taunting her, plus multiple instances of the girl rebelling against her overbearing Chinese-Canadian mother to the point of being disrespectful. In Turning Red, Mai Li is a confident, dorky 13-year-old torn between...
Okay, so you know he's not actually watched the movie because he purposefully mispronounces the main character's name. Just gotta add a whole other level of awful to this, but whatever.
That it's just this obnoxious kid, disobedient to her parents. It doesn't actually have a message. Of course, you can portray that kind of stuff in kids' movies. It's been portrayed many times before. But the question is, what's the message at the end of it? And there is no, from what I've been told, there is no message at...
From what I've been told. So he's just going off of things that he's just heard about this movie. He's making a whole video on Turning Red, and he's not even seen this movie. You know, why am I even questioning this? This is Matt Walsh. Of course, he's not going to actually research something. But why is it such a big deal that the kids are slightly disobedient? It's just what kids are like. It's not even like the girl in the movie is obnoxious. She is very dedicated to her parents, like a little bit too much, honestly. And the movie is about her like loosening up a little bit so that her parents don't literally control, her mom specifically, literally don't control everything about her. And you're saying that it's got no message? Why don't you just watch the movie?
Turning red, and the fact that she turns into a red panda is a not so subtle metaphor for that. And so that's part of the theme of this movie. And then you think, well, who is it actually? Is this a Pixar movie about a panda? Is this for 13-year-olds? Is that who this is for?
Yeah.
Because when you think about Pixar movies, like every other one that's been made, you immediately think, okay, well, this is for 5 and 6-year-olds.
They're family movies. They're intended for all audience. Oh my, what is he even trying to say?
So this is a Pixar movie specifically for 12 and 13-year-old girls. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Why doesn't it make sense to you? He's acting as if like a movie, because the studio is known for making movies that are accessible to younger audiences, that it makes no sense for the same company to just make a movie that's a little bit for slightly older audiences. Like kids that are like 5 or 6 can still enjoy this. It just tells you that he hasn't even watched the movie because the references that they're making are not overt at all. Oh, why am I trying to? Okay.
I haven't seen the movie.
Clearly.
I don't plan on seeing it. I've heard enough just from this that my kids aren't going to watch it. I do put a lot of stock in kind of parental reviews. I tell you what, those are the only reviews I actually care about, and the only ones that I trust and that I find to be relatively reliable.
That really says a lot about you, Matt Walsh, that you only find parental reviews important. Yeah, it makes sense that you only like parental reviews. I'm guessing they're the only reviews that don't immediately point out the fact that your book was incredibly offensive to trans people. So I can see why you like those reviews more.
Rotten Tomatoes aggregate scores don't really mean anything. Even the aggregate audience score, to me, doesn't mean much. The fact that a bunch of critics liked a certain movie, that doesn't mean anything, okay? The fact that the audience broadly liked the movie also doesn't mean anything, because if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, look at the aggregate audience score for pretty much any Marvel movie, it's all going to be like 99% people raving about how wonderful it is, and the movie is terrible.
POV, Matt Walsh discovers that average opinions on movies that are appeal to a wide audience are going to be more positive than normal.
And this is all I need to hear. You know, if you've got a large number of parents saying, this is not good for kids, it's got the wrong messages, on top of that, it's just kind of loud, and you tell your kid, okay, well, we're not going to watch this movie, and it turns out that the movie was fine and they could have watched it, how are they hurt by that? They've still got a million other things they can watch. It's not going to hurt them. Even if you stop them from watching something that would have been fine.
Why can't I just do things that my kids don't like? Why can't I do things specifically to make them mad? It makes me happy to make my kids mad. Why can't people understand that?
It doesn't cause any damage to them.
It doesn't cause any damage to them that can be proven in a court of law. But yeah, it just sounds like these people either don't watch the movie or they watch part of it and then they decide, hey, this is like encouraging my kids to be disobedient to me personally, so therefore it's evil and bad. Or in other cases, they have like this preconceived notion of how like sexually explicit the idea of puberty is. It's like they only remember the parts of puberty that are the like most explicit, and they forget that there are other things that happen in puberty, like emotionally in your brain, which is, you know, what the movie is about. So those were those videos that I watched. Yeah, this controversy is really stupid, and they didn't even get to the part where like people were freaking out about the fact that they mentioned periods in this movie, because believe me, that was a whole other debate. So I'm surprised to find out the reasons were even stupider. God forbid we talk about the deleted gay scene that didn't even make it into the movie and people still found a way to complain about. Turning Red is a great movie. It's a great movie for kids who are trying to figure themselves out, and it's fun, honestly. You know, I can see how it might not be to everyone's taste, but I think that it's really heartwarming, and I think that it is a good movie for kids to see. You can agree with me, or you can agree with Matt Walsh. Obviously, there are plenty of other perspectives on it, and I think there are legitimate criticisms of Turning Red, but I feel like this is just silly. And I always think that if you're going to make a video talking about something, talking about a movie, about your own thoughts on it, you should watch it. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. It was kind of unscripted and a bit ranty, I think, a little bit, but hopefully you enjoyed anyway. And there are other more polished videos on the way, so keep an eye out for that. Follow my socials, check out my Discord server, my Instagram, my TikTok, and, you know, maybe my letterbox. And of course, subscribe to this channel, obviously. And if you subscribe to the channel, I'll do 2 kickflips. I promise I'll do it. I hope that you have an excellent day, and that if you don't, I hope you know that there are people out there who care about you. And I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye.